Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wired Gaming. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully you are all good and are having a great day. Today we have something a little bit different. Now I know the New Dawn update is coming very soon, which will give us a whole load of new content. It is just a matter of days now until that drops, and I'm very excited. That will drop alongside the Tactical Equipment Pack. Remember, the New Dawn update is a free update, and the Tactical Equipment Pack is a paid DLC. So, I've had this video in the works for, well, I've planned it for a while now, so I thought I'd get it out before this update drops, and it is pretty much all about activities that we could see, and I think we should see in Generation Zero. These are just a few ideas that I've seen of and heard of and played with different other games, and it's quite interesting how they could work in Generation Zero. So for our first activity, we are going to be thinking about what I would like to call either town or city assaults. Similar to the base assault, but there's no building or anything like that, and there's a lot, and I mean a lot more machines. This whole city could be full, and I mean riddled with machines. Talking 50, 60, maybe even more, and that come in and are just wandering around. They're not really doing much, they are just wandering until you show up, and then they will obviously try to attack you. Or another way that you could handle this is some resistance fighters are trapped in the city and the machines are roaming it and they can't get out. So you have to go in and destroy the machines. Now, same with all of these activities. I think rather than, I don't like the rival system. I've said it before and I'll probably say it again in this video. It takes far too long to actually do anything, and you have to grind and kill the same machines sometimes for hours and hours and hours to get one result that lasts a few minutes, which I'm not a fan of. It does work, but it does get a little bit tedious over time. So I think the way that they could do all of these activities is on a timer basis. So one activity is guaranteed to come every hour at least. So if you are playing for 1 hour, you will see one of these activities. So they could spawn in and you could roll over to the next hour and it could spawn instantly, but then you've obviously got like 55 minutes or whatever to wait for the next one. I think that would be a cool system, and it would always keep you going for a few hours. There's always stuff to do, there's always stuff to play with, which I think would be really quite smart. But like I said, the gist of it is for this is just to assault the city, clear the machines, free the resistance fighters that are bogged down, and get them out. And also it would liven up the cities quite a bit more, just having machines roaming around them anyway. Because once you've done the missions, I feel like the towns and the cities and the bunkers become relatively like dead and boring, and there's not really much going on. You've done all your missions, all you can do now is loot. But having loads and loads of machines wandering around down here, ready for you, would be quite fun. So just running through the town, it's relatively empty. There's nothing going on. It's quiet. There used to be machines everywhere. Now, I know with some of them, they've reduced the amount of machines and the buildings that you can go in to help with the crashing issues that were mainly around Ostavik and the top one, Hagboda, I think it is. But they have reduced the amount of machines because of that, and I mean, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. But just look, there's so many set pieces here. It looks like a war zone. It looks like stuff's going on. You could have a bunch of resistance fighters just up there hiding away, taking pop shots. I think it'd be so damn cool. Because as running around now, we've seen this guy. That's it. Obviously, there's a relay beacon down at the back end, which you could see towards the start of this part of the video, but it's not much, is it? And now we've killed that machine. I think there's another rival around here somewhere, but other than that, it's a pretty empty area. So we could have so much fun with it. It could be really, really cool and a lot to just play around with. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to see something like that. Just add to the fun and obviously the loot. Obviously, we could have different difficulties as well. So the higher the difficulty, the more machines, or the higher level of machines. So you could start off with prototype, move up to military, then obviously Phoenix, and then finally Apocalypse class. Or you could even have, well, no, Reaper wouldn't really work too well, but yeah, you could have higher levels of machines depending on the level of the mission, and then obviously the better the rewards depending on that level, which I think would work really, really well. Especially with the smaller towns that are at the top end. Just a couple of houses, and a couple of cars, a couple of little buildings. I think it'll work really, really well. And there's a few in the farmlands, like the Boo Church and all that lot. Those would work brilliantly. It's just a nice little thing to take up some time and get you some XP. Because I mean, with the new XP levels, we definitely need something to boost us and give us those extra bits. So for our next activity, now imagine this. As you can see here, we are at the top of the farmlands. There's so many big open areas. And it doesn't even have to be a big open area. But because there are so many big open areas that are unutilized, supply drops. Now hear me out. I know the loot at the moment is there's a lot of loot, but a supply drop I think could be very cool, especially for areas like this where there's not too much going on, but there's a big open space. Now picture this, you get a blip on your map, say even if it's here, what have you, and you have either, depending on the level of the supply drop, 5, 10, or 15 minutes to get it, or it could even be 5, 7, and 9 minutes. But you've got to get to that location, you've got to clear the machines out, and then unlock the supply drop. If you don't do it in time, the machines destroy the supply drop, and then that's it. It's game over. You don't actually activate it. But you're running through, you've got a few minutes to get there. You've got, as you can see here, we've got a wolf with a few little lynxes. So, not too difficult. So this could be a lower tier supply drop. But then the higher up you go in the map, or the higher they drop, that could be differentiate in the difficulty. So, the higher up we get, the harder the machines are, so the higher the difficulty of the supply drop. The higher the difficulty, the better the rewards. Which I think would be a nice little touch. Something that could help us get more adrenaline shots. Oh, wow. Could potentially be another way to even grab ourselves some of those schematics. And potentially, maybe a very small chance to get some weapons. Now, what do people think about that? I think it would be a very fun concept. It could even drop sort of 3 drops at the same time. Now, I don't want this to be something that's in there with the rival system. I don't like the rival system. I've already said this many a times before. It takes far too long to get what you want, if you know what I mean. And I know there's an element of grinding, and that's the way the game is. But I think it would be very cool if it was just something that happens once, maybe an hour or something like that. They drop in random time within that hour. But if you are playing for 1 hour, you will see a drop at some point in that hour. So picture like being able to look up and see a plane come past and packages being dropped out of that plane. And that would, so let's say there's 3 or maybe even 5 dropping in a line of where that plane has gone. Obviously the lower one down here will be a low level, sort of mid tier, and then top tier with obviously higher rewards in. But you can see this drop coming down, but it doesn't show on your map. It will show on your map once it's hit the ground and the flare's popped, and then that gives you that sets the timer off as soon as it's hit the ground. But if you can see it dropping down, you can make your way towards it a little bit quicker, and that'll get you that head start. I think it's a cool idea. I think it could work. It could just be an extra fun little activity that we get to do, and something that could be cool to play around with, and earn us that extra bit of loot without that grindy aspect of it. They'd obviously need to be pretty substantial rewards. So like I said, maybe even schematics. You could potentially see weapons, but rare. There's a lot of ways to get weapons as it is, so we don't need any more than that, I don't think. But it's just a cool idea. I think it could work really well with the game, and it's just something extra to add in and use the time up, you know. I think it's a cool idea. Let me know what you guys think down below. Next up is bike racing. There are so many cool things that they could do with the bikes, which they haven't done. They need to do them. Bike racing would be absolutely amazing, and I don't understand why they haven't done it yet. We've had one mission which revolved around bike racing. We have a couple of assignments which involve getting your top speed up, but to do that you just drive off the edge of a cliff, basically. That's how you get the top speed up. But I think bike racing just could be a cool little thing. Like, even with friends, you could do it in multiplayer. So you could have 4 players racing against each other, get from one point to another. First one to get there wins. I know this is a long stretch, this one, but you could even implement a gambling system into it. So players put down ammo or med packs or whatever, and the winner takes all. I think that would just be a cool little thing that everybody could play together in multiplayer. Obviously in single player that wouldn't be a function, but getting from one place to another really quick on the bike as fast as you can. Then you could even add modifiers to that, so don't fall off the bike, or I don't know, you have to go this way or stay on the road the whole time. Keep your speed above this amount, just to make them a little bit more interesting. Because the bike riding itself, it is fun, but it will get kind of boring after a while. And the original bike race that they had was this one here, which starts quite a long way away. It starts here, and then it goes all the way down to there. So it's a long old race, but it's a fun race. It was a very fun race. You get your ass handed to you by a lot of machines, but it's cool. It really is. It's a cool little feature, and I don't know why they didn't implement that a little bit more and add more to it. Now, I know a lot of people want more vehicles, which, to be fair, I do too. The bike really is useless from getting from one side of the map to the other, but because of that, why not use it for something more? Make a little bit of fun with it. Have some fun. Put maybe some little obstacle courses in, like these little jumps that they've put in here. And, you know, players will have loads of fun with that. Loads of fun. Next up is something I want to see more than anything on this list. And that is bunker time trials. Going through bunkers is so much fun. It's one of the best things about the game, and unfortunately, they have not utilised that in the slightest towards endgame. There's not too much we can do with the bunkers at the end, and I really wish that there was a hell of a lot more. So just being able to get in there, clear out those machines again, and have that scary feel, that fun of exploring it and not having a bloody clue what's going on or where you're going, was just absolutely amazing. There are so many bunkers all over the map, and they could be used so well. So you could have something outside here, like, I don't know, maybe a little bench or something. So this wouldn't be like the other ones, a timed event that shows up every so often. This could just be something that is here constantly. We could even see a multiplayer leaderboard, so people can put their best times to it and compete against each other. But it is a solo event. And then maybe obviously you could do it with friends, but I don't know. There's loads of different ways they could work around that and figure that out. But so once you've actually activated it, it resets everything inside. So there's nothing on. There's no power. You have to get in, and you could even have modifiers. So you have to get in and turn the power on, or you have to get in and clear the machines, depending on how you want to play it, really. And then alongside that, there could be extra modifiers, like don't use medkits, only use this weapon, or you've only got this amount of ammo, or do it without alerting machines, just stuff along those lines. I think it could be really, really cool. And it would add a hell of a lot of replayability back to these areas that are just such a key part of the game, but are ultimately forgotten. And it's a shame, because they could be beautiful. They could be so much more than what they are. And they deserve that, let's be honest. The amount of work that the team have put into these bunkers and making them look pretty, feel scary, and making them so much fun is brilliant. And utilizing that, I think, will definitely add a hell of a lot to the replayability of this game. See, I'm lost now. We're back outside, which is not where we wanted to be. So having to do this with that pressure of a timer coming along would just be brilliant. And you could even have different tiered rewards for how long it takes you to do it, just as standard, and then obviously adding modifiers just adds rewards and adds XP to it. But we'll see, it'd be nice. I hope the team see this video, because, you know, being able to, like, change everything up and just having those extra objectives that will add a shite ton of XP to us would be so damn good. Make use of those extra levels that we're going to get. I think it's just such a brilliant idea. So last but not least, this one is pretty much a very, very long shot. But I'm thinking something along the lines of raids. I would love to see raids, multiplayer only obviously, with 4 players going somewhere completely random, something maybe a pre-gen area, and where we head in, take on something that lasts maybe an hour, hour and a half. I mean, I remember doing some of the Division raids and the Destiny raids that lasted hours, but they were so fun, and that sense of teamwork that you get from it is just absolutely amazing, and it's just brilliantly fun. You get a shite ton of amazing rewards, and it just keeps the gameplay out there because there's always that extra thing to do. So something like that, I think, would suit Generation Zero really well. We could go to the mainland, or potentially somewhere where there's maybe a giant phoenix build-in site. I don't know. There's loads of possibilities for raids, and I mean like hundreds and hundreds of possibilities. Loads of different things that they could do that I would love to see. Just imagine something bigger than the Reaper. Maybe something stationary. It doesn't really move too much, but something bigger, something deadlier, and something much more brutal than the Reaper, I think would be amazing. Like a 50-foot, 100-foot high tank. I don't know. I can't even think of what enemies we could see, because the possibilities are endless, and I could just go on for hours and hours and hours and go nuts with the enemies that we could see. So I'm not going to rumble on for that. But raids are something that I think would suit this game so well. Obviously, the rest of the stuff that we've talked about in the video could be something that is all just solo based. Obviously, raids are multiplayer. They are something that you'd need people to play with, and it would, the replayability with raids would be absolutely insane. This game would last a hell of a lot longer. I know some people disappear between updates. I don't think you'd see even half as much of that if we had raids. I think raids would keep it going, and at least 70%, maybe even 80% of the player base that are here most of the time, I think would stay between updates. So it's a win-win situation, really. They stay between updates. People want to play more. People are more willing to buy DLCs. Obviously, it is a lot of work, raids, and there's a lot that could go wrong. But overall, the benefits outweigh the negatives by 1,000. I mean, it'd just be so damn cool. I'd love to see raids. So damn cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. Let me know what you think down below. What activities would you like to see? And what activities do you think would work really well with the game itself, alongside the enemies and the terrain that we've got? I'd definitely love to see a load of ideas. I could potentially do another video on loads of different ideas that people have, but we'll see. That may be something we do in the future. For now, though, that is it from me. So, you know what to do. Drop a like on the video, drop some comments down below. It really helps us and pushes us out there in the algorithm and gets us noticed a bit more. So it's really helpful. And also, subscribe to the channel. If you do want to support us a little bit further, consider checking out the members tab. I'd greatly appreciate it. But now, though, I've been Wired, you've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon with some more Generation Zero.